Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I promised you a video all about how I afford my lovely dresses, and today we are finally going to talk about it. I promised this video months ago, but I really have gone back and forth about it so many times. I actually ended up, I think this is the fourth time that I've remade this video, because the fact of the matter is money is a really delicate subject. It tends to cause people to get offended, to have hurt feelings, and that is not at all what I want. The last thing I want is to hurt someone or offend someone. I'm trying to present this video as delicately as possible. Promise me that you won't go into it wanting to get offended, okay? There's plenty of other places out there where people want you to get offended. That's not the purpose of what I'm doing here today, okay? If you're a fashion lover like me, beautiful dresses are something that just tug at your heartstrings. Now, they're not for everybody, I know this. Other people value things that I kind of think are crazy, and there's plenty of people out there who think that my pretty dress collection's crazy, and that's fine. I don't fault them for that. I only ask that they kind of be quiet about it. I live near a sports stadium. I'm not even really sure what they play there. And whenever I drive by early in the morning and see these people lined up waiting to get into this big game in the freezing cold, I kind of think they're crazy. But I know that people think the exact same thing about my dress collection. It's just that I value dresses and they value sports, and we don't really value what the other person values, but none of us are right or wrong. These are just the things that we like. I don't think there's anything wrong with having these beautiful dresses. The only problem comes in whenever you are exceeding your income in order to get them. So hopefully what I'm creating here with this video is a way to help keep this hobby, this passion, in balance with the rest of your life. You don't need to go into debt, and you certainly don't want to live outside your means for something like pretty dresses or whatever your hobby is. So just to start things off, let me say that most of the time when people say to me that they wish they could afford to have beautiful princessy dresses, what they really mean, and they're not aware of it, is that they aren't prioritizing affording these things. Because when I look at their finances and when I look at where their money gets spent, they are spending their money on other things. Personally, in my own life, I cut corners on things that aren't important to me. So I tend to buy inexpensive cell phones. I very rarely go out to eat. As a family, we maybe go once a month. As an individual, I maybe go once a month. We don't spend a lot of money there. I don't have any streaming services. I don't have Alexa running my house. I don't have cable or whatever people do now. I don't even watch TV. I don't value these things. I think they're really boring. Pretty dresses are what interest me, so that's where I spend my money. It's not that I make more money than other people, because I definitely don't. It's just that I prioritize dresses over these other things, and that's where I allocate my funds. And you can do the same thing if dresses are a priority for you. These are simple tips. They're not exactly reinventing the wheel, and yet when I mention these things to people face to face, when they say, oh, your dresses are so beautiful, I wish I could afford them. And I say, well, maybe you could cut back on your streaming services. If you canceled those subscriptions for a year, you could afford a few of these dresses. And I see this light go on because they'd never considered that I cut back in other areas to afford my dresses. I think that a lot of people think that you should just be able to have it all. And that's not really the case. Most people get what they want by sacrificing something. So from this point forward in the video, we're going to assume that you are the kind of person that prioritizes it, okay? So we're in the same boat in that we prioritize it. Now, how do you afford it? Tip number 1. Okay, so you saw this beautiful dress come out, but you didn't have the money, or even if you had the money, you just couldn't justify spending that much on a dress. What do? Well, your best bet is to give it just a little bit of time, and then you need to hit the resale sites and the buy-sell trade groups. I have found the buy-sell trade groups to be really, really great resource for getting a good deal on some beautiful clothes. Resale sites are a little hit and miss. Buy-sell trade groups are too. The thing is, there is what there is in the size that there is. A lot of people on these sites will have to compromise on size a little bit. They'll say, I'll take anything from an extra small to a medium just to get the dress that I want, and then have it altered accordingly. So the availability isn't always there. But I will say that it is fun to search. The hunt is kind of part of the fun. And sometimes it really pays off. Another great thing is that on these sites, you can arrange to do a trade. So if you have something that you no longer love and somebody has something that you love and you're the same size, you can do a swap. I will caution you to be very careful because of course there are people out there who are going to never ship. So you just lost something. Be very, very careful when you do a trade. Make sure that you are both protected in a trade, but it can be like a really great way to get something you want while simultaneously getting rid of something you don't. Tip number 2, wait for the sales. A lot of these websites I've noticed and I feel kind of silly because I forget this tip, but it's really important. If you will go and sign up, you get a sign up bonus. It's usually like 10 to 15% off, which isn't a lot, but you know, when I'm impulsively shopping and like, oh my gosh, I have to have the dress. So I put the dress in my cart and then I go sign up and then I buy the dress. And then within a few hours, I get this promo code for 10% off. I feel a little bit burned. So sometimes it's worth it to go to the site, sign up, wait a day, then go back and buy your dress so you can get your 10% off. It's not a lot, but it does help. Another thing I've noticed is that most shops, I've seen Teuta Matoshi do this, Selkie does this, you know, some of the smaller brands like ModCloth would do this, Unique Vintage tends to do this. They will have a spring sale and a Black Friday sale. Black Friday sales tend to be the best. So I know that in 2021, Teuta Matoshi did 30% off, which was huge, and Selkie did 40% off or more. Like their price, that was the lowest prices I had seen all year was on their Black Friday sale, and you could get a really good deal on Black Friday without trampling anyone. So wait for the sales because most shops will do 2 a year. Selkie will do an anniversary sale occasionally. There are some other shops that will do anniversary sales, but if you can at all, wait for the sale. You can save 20 to 40 to maybe even 60% if you can just hang in there. As I'm making this video, it is the beginning of March, so there's very likely going to be a spring sale coming up soon in March or April, so keep an eye out for those if there are some dresses you have your eye on. Tip number 3, save up. I know this may sound like an oversimplification, but this actually, I'm putting it as tip number 3, it's actually the top thing that I do to afford my dresses. I have a little envelope set aside in a place that I can't easily access it. So that I can't dip in and out of it just at will. Impulse buying has become a huge problem thanks to the internet. We can shop whenever we want, from anywhere that we are. We've got it in our pockets, in our hands. We can shop all over the world, all the time. Impulse buying will drain your resources on junk. The best thing that you can do, have a few shops that you like, and then save up so that when you see that beautiful dress, you already have the money for it. The problem with waiting for the sales and doing the buy, sell, trade, the resale stuff, the problem is that you might not ever get your dress. It might sell out and no one might want to part with it. I've had this happen a number of times, at least more than half a dozen times, where I never get that dress because people don't sell it. Or by the time I finally have the money for it, it's gone and it's never coming back. So the number one thing that I do really is just to save my money so that I'm ready for the perfect dress when it comes along. One of the ways that I save up is to have an envelope set aside. It's labeled pretty dresses, and I'll just set aside a little bit of money now and then, whenever I can. Anytime somebody goes on vacation or they're sick, I'll cover their shift and I'll put that extra money, if at all possible, into my little envelope. It's not a lot, but over time it does add up. If you're looking to save a little more than that a little quicker, I would recommend setting aside a certain amount from each paycheck. Maybe you can't afford much. Okay, let's say maybe you can only afford $10 out of each paycheck. You get paid twice a month. At the end of a year, you've got $240. That will buy you a nice gown. It's not a lot, but over time it does work. We get really impatient. We want what we want and we want it right now. But if you can save up, then when the sales do come, or when your perfect dress comes, you've already got the money for it. It's not gonna hurt you, it's not gonna put you into debt, nobody's gonna be yelling at you because the money's there. Definitely if you can work an extra shift now and then, that helps. I had a friend years ago who really inspired me because she wanted a whole new set of furniture for her house. And she discussed it with her husband and they realized they just didn't have the money for it. So what she did was she went out and got a weekend job. She worked every weekend for 6 months. And at the end of 6 months, she had enough money. She paid off in full the entire set of furniture that she wanted, and then she quit the job. And it was perfect for her because she didn't want to go into debt. She didn't have the resources for it as it was. So this allowed her as a temporary solution to reach her goal. So whatever you can afford, definitely don't make it hurt. don't be doing without electricity and water because you're setting all your money aside for a dress. Don't do that. What's a reasonable amount that you could set aside in advance so that when the dress comes along or when the sale hits, you've already got the money? Is it $10 a paycheck? Is it $20 a month? Is it $50 out of every paycheck? If you will keep at it with your savings, it will help. And really, this is the thing that has helped me the most, is the slow and steady approach, just saving my money little by little, and then Black Friday hits, and I don't have to break the bank because I've already got my money set aside. So let me give you a quick little practical application of these tips that I've used in my life. I think it was October of 2021, Selkie launched a pre-sale of the things that were going to be coming out in 2022 for their spring collection. Now, the collection was out so quickly that I just really didn't have time to make up my mind, and even if I had, I didn't have the money. But what I did have was, fortunately, some time to save up. So I saved pictures of the dresses that they had at Fashion Week. I did a little research on about how much these items usually cost. I figured out the exact dresses that I would really want to order from this collection, and then how much it was going to cost me total to order them, and then I padded that amount by a little bit. And from October to the release in March, that gave me about 6 months to save up as much as I would need to pay for these dresses. If I had had to buy these dresses on impulse right then, I would have gone into debt. I would have maxed out my credit card. There would have been a very bleak Christmas, but it wasn't worth that to me. I need time to make up my mind, and I don't like to impulse buy. Using the savings method, I have 6 months to slowly set aside the money that I need for this. And over those 6 months, I've actually whittled my list down. Initially, I had 4 dresses that I really wanted to buy. Now I think I'm down to maybe 2, maybe 3, but really just 2, because the more that I looked at them, the more I realized they wouldn't work with my wardrobe. I didn't really want them. Here we are. Selkie's going to be releasing this collection in just a few weeks. It's been about 6 months, and I've saved up the entire total that I needed for all 4 dresses. So if I decide not to buy all 4 dresses, then I've got that extra money saved that I can spend on other things if I want. Also, in the meantime, I got a promo code from a company that sells the Selkie collection. So now, not only will I have the money to pay for my dresses, I'll get 20% off when I do order them. So this is how I am able to afford these dresses without paying full price or without breaking the bank whenever I do want to buy them. That's all I have for this video. I'm keeping it short and sweet. Those are my 3 basic tips if you are somebody who prioritizes pretty dresses on how you can afford them without making it hurt. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found something useful that you can take with you so that you can afford your dream dresses. Prom is also on the way, so I'll be doing some more prom dress reviews soon. I will leave the link for my Instagram and for my blog if you want to follow me over there, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.